Brownie, the beautiful soundtrack can mean only one thing. It's time for another episode of Tools Down, and boy, they keep getting bigger and bigger.
They do.
We've got a ripping show for you today. How have you been?
Going all right. I'll tell you who I am going better than. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard this week, mate. I've been following their court case. That has been extraordinary sort of behaviour.
We are not going to go anywhere near that, and I can't believe you kicked things off. But we're levelling up thanks to good work. Welcome, everybody. Tools Down. It's Huey and Brownie, and over the next half hour or so, we have a massive lineup for you. We continue to listen to the feedback, which is why we've got an even bigger tradie following and an even bigger tradie lineup for you today. We are absolutely committed to helping the tradies, 30,000 or more that are connected on good work, building a network, levelling up and really bouncing back from COVID-19. And this week, it's been another interesting one, and we're not quite sure where it's going to end, Brownie.
No, that's exactly right. It's ever evolving, isn't it? And down here in Victoria, there's some alarming numbers, but I think everyone's doing their very, very best to get through it.
And one of the things that can get overlooked if you are in lockdown is looking after the kids. And I know Boston has been a favourite of yours for almost a couple of years.
You've got to come up with things to do, Huey. You can't just sit in front of the TV and watch Paw Patrol or Tractor Tom. And
you have got a sprawling metropolis, a country retreat, we call it. And I noticed on Instagram you were posting a little bit of your finest daddy daycare work. And
that's his new pet, Begini, Lamb Begini. And we put him out in the paddocks yesterday, and the sheep took a bit of a shining to him, thought it was a goat. But I loved Boston's courage. He tucked in, and his core was good too. He didn't fall over. Gave him a nice little backhander too, just as he ran off, which I didn't mind.
I'm sure you'll be getting a call from the Department of Human Services soon. We'd love to see some of your daddy daycare moments, so please pop them in the comments section. DM us and let us know how you're getting through COVID-19. We're going to kick things off very soon.
Let's do it.
We're going straight on site with Sam. We're going to have an AFL NRL chat with Joel Caine.
Yes.
Obviously, he used to play a little bit of NRL. Also an electrician, so it'd be good to ask him some question. And I think we've done around about 8 episodes now, and our partners at Good Work probably haven't got the mileage that they would have liked, and remiss of us not to have the CEO of Good Work on at some point to talk about the app. So that's exactly what we're going to do through the show, is just talk you through how you can use the app, you can level up and commit to just driving better outcomes through COVID-19, and of course, Finance with Jimmy. Job Builder's been a big one this week. There's plenty of incentives around in terms of giving apprentices a leg up, helping you with training and subsidising young people getting back into the workforce as we bounce back from COVID-19. And there's been a massive build up to our giveaways. We've got plenty of prizes.
Oh,
Stay tuned. We're going to draw it out of a hat.
Giveaway.
Thanks to Elwood, Tom and Luke's. We've got the Smoko snacks as well as a hoodie. Thanks to Elwood. We're going to draw that prize right at the very end of the show.
We've got a giveaway that's actually never been given away before.
We have been spending a long time promoting it, so it's great to finally give away some pretty big prizes. And Good Work isn't the only one helping level up. Are you doing something different? Have you got insoles in, or?
Well, I took offence to you constantly just looking down on me, so I've tried to get to the same height, Huey, but I've still got a few more inches to go, I think.
Thank goodness you're not wearing stilettos. Sam, we're out on the tools with her next. Join us. Tools down, thanks to Good Work. Thanks for sticking around, and we've got a massive show. As we said, we're giving away a truckload worth of prizes later. So I thought we'd put a bit of a theme around winners and grinners, and thank you. This is probably the only thing I've won in my lifetime, and it's the Brownie book. Stick around towards the end of the show. We're going to get stuck into one of the chapters.
A lot of pictures in that.
Get stuck into one of the chapters around Las Vegas. Believe me, you want to stick around for that. You haven't won too much in your lifetime, have you?
Not too much, nah.
Premiership?
Oh, yeah. I actually won a car one day as an 11-year-old in the Richmond Footy Club raffle, which was good. Yeah, the old man bought tickets and I was drawn out.
And
it wasn't a rigged raffle, though, like some we've been involved in the past.
But stick around. If you've gone in the draw for the prizes, we've got a stack. We're going to draw them out of the Good Work hat in a little bit. But we are keeping the tradie vibe going. We want to know how you guys are going thanks to Good Work, bouncing back from COVID-19. And someone who just keeps levelling up every week, out and about on site with Sam. Done it again.
I wonder how many episodes in we'll get before you wait for the throw. It's magnificent.
And Sam, bear with us, but winners are grinners. I believe that you've got a little bit of a prize pool that you've won, Sam, in your lifetime. What's one of the best things you've ever won as we greet you out at Croydon Hills here in Victoria?
The best thing I ever won was at the Hawthorn pub back in the day when I was in my uni days, and I won a snowboard in a fancy dress competition.
Nice.
Was that around Toss the Boss, sort of somewhere down around Swinburne down there?
Cheers. That's
Yeah,
cheers. Very different.
was around Swinburne.
Well, Sam,
There
outstanding
we
stuff.
Have you got a picture of it? That was my grandmother's onesie. She used to get around in that, and I claimed it out of her wardrobe when I was about 18.
All right, I'll make sure I'm wearing my mankini next week just to keep everyone into it. And Sam, I believe you've got a very special guest from WMC Builders. You've got Julian alongside you, and he's been doing a little bit of work around a bathroom reno. How are you going, Jules?
Yeah, good, mate, good. Just ripping into it. We've just done the plumbing fit off, and now we're laying some flooring today. So laying the floor, doing the sheeting, sealing it all up.
Yeah. So Jules here from WMC Builders. Can you tell me what WMC stands for, Jules?
It stands for Weapon of Mass Construction.
And
Yeah.
how long have you been in operation for?
About 6 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I know this ute, we've just got some cars going past. This ute is a special one. So I actually have seen this on Jules' Instagram. So I was wondering if you can talk us through how this just a bit of a...
So basically the doors are magneted, so you can leave it unlocked and arm the alarm on the car, and if someone comes past and tries it, it sets the alarm off. I won't do it now because it's loud and there's someone sleeping, but yeah, so it's good. If someone breaks in, it'll wake you up.
Security first.
Definitely.
Yeah, nice.
Can't have someone rip off all your tools, so...
And what have you got hanging from the toolbox here?
So this is my respirator. This is probably one of the most important things to use with all the dust and stuff we're breathing in these days. Masks are pretty on trend at the moment, so you won't feel weird wearing one. And I reckon they're great and they're important. Always have one handy because you always need it.
Would you say that that's your favourite tool? Or
I'd probably say it's second. Seconds are probably my level. This one I got in my first year, so it's 10 years old today. It's still as true as the day I bought it. And you can't really beat a carpenter without one of these.
you guys did comment levelling up earlier, so this is levelling up, really. Yeah.
Good pun.
And I also, so we were talking about your glasses earlier because we were discussing how we're both we've got some eye issues.
Yeah.
Now, do they get in the way when you're working, or
Not at all. It's like permanent safety glasses. Like I'm often looking at blades and like dust and everything, but they're always on, so my eyes are always screened.
Do you ever have any issues though? Like, I know a bit of dust comes up and then suddenly you can't see anything.
I give them the windscreen wiper sometimes, but they're pretty good. So just
nice. Little windscreen
the
wiper.
half-hour wipe. Yeah.
If only you could install that.
I know, exactly.
And your boots are looking pretty good there, Jules.
Oh, they could be better. These are about 18 months old.
Yeah.
I'm pretty ready for a new set. But
How long do they normally last you?
it depends on the work you're doing. If you're working outside in the wet, I reckon they perish a lot quicker.
Yep.
A lot of my work's inside bathrooms and whatnot, so these are probably get 2 years out of them.
Yeah, nice. And I see you've got the little zips on the side, so this fascinates me. You never actually do your laces up, do you?
Oh, no, it's literally just like that. Sometimes if you leave the zip down, though, you can like blow your ankle out, so you sort of got to make sure you keep it.
Yeah, nice. No, looking good. I just slip mine on because I can't do my laces in.
Yeah, you need a zip.
A little zip.
Hey, great work, guys. Sam, great to have you out and about on site. And of course, if you'd like Sam to come and visit your work site, just like she did for weapons of mass construction.
Yeah, I like that.
Got to love a little bit of wordplay, in the words of Dennis Cometti. Sam, thanks very much. And a big thanks to you too, Jules. If you'd like Sam to come and visit you, just leave us a note in the Facebook page or send us a DM. The Cockies are obviously enjoying our work, and Sam will catch up with you again next week.
Yep, right up there.
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
fellas.
one.
Hey, Brownie, big news in the AFL last night. The Pies got up. They're sitting second of the ladder. Up next, thanks to NRL Nation, we're going to be joined by Joel Caine. He's going to talk NRL and AFL, and keen to get your tips about what the players can get up to up on the Gold Coast.
Plenty.
Can't think of any place better to be in quarantine. They're up on the Gold Coast, and we'll catch up with Joel Caine next on Tools Down. Thanks to Good Work. Welcome back. Tools Down, thanks to the team at Good Work helping all tradies level up as we come out of COVID-19. And something we've listened to you, we've heard you, we know we need more NRL, which is why we've gone to the source of truth, almost an oracle, could be said, from NRL Nation. And not only is he a past superstar of the game, but I also understand he's got some experience being on the tools. We're delighted to be joined now by Joel Caine from NRL Nation. Joel, we're coming to you live from what looks to be your wine cellar, I think there, mate. You just got a few bottles of Penfolds behind the church door there, just waiting to be opened in a couple of years' time. How are you?
Yeah, very good, boys. I've locked the family in there, so we'll let them out soon enough. But yeah, I was a Sparky back in the day. I don't know how many Sparkies there are in Australia. Call it 10,000 Sparkies. And if there were 10,000 Sparkies, I reckon I was ranked about 9,999. Didn't know one bloke. He was a shocker.
That's about as many as books as Brownie's got left out of his 10,000, Joel.
Thanks,
so you're certainly up or about there. Look, the Raiders got up again last night, Brownie. I'll let you lead the NRL chat.
Joel, they were terrific, weren't they? Got challenged and just kept finding, even though they lost a few really important players with injury last week. The Raiders were solid last night.
Oh, fantastic. Honestly, that was one of the greatest wins of all time. So for context, the Roosters hadn't lost a game in about 10 visits for the SCG. They love that place. They're the reigning premiers. Talk about tools down. They were tools down last night because they were forced into it. The Raiders, this is one of the famous victories. Your star player goes down. Think about that in any code. You take on the benchmark, you're behind on the scoreboard, and bang, you come away with a victory away from home. It was a monumental victory. Short turnaround. They were whinging about that throughout the week as well. But it was a Herculean effort from the Raiders.
What about the Parramatta Eels? They continue to just go from strength to strength. Have they been a bit of a surprise packet this year?
Absolutely. I remember speaking to the general manager, Mark O'Neill, a former teammate of mine. I said, mate, go through the Parramatta Eels. You've got a great catchment there, and for many, many years, you have access to the best players in the comp. And sometimes when we're seeing any sport really, and we say, oh, gee, that kid's a good player, it's typically the attacking players. Would you agree?
Yep.
Now, Parramatta have had all these flashy attacking players. So too Penrith. But I said it's about the defence. The top two defensive teams, like the AFL, typically win the grand final, win the flag. So they are now top two Parramatta as it stands. And maybe now, after Roosters tripping on a banana peel, they might be the team to beat.
Joel, we've seen a fair bit of movement from an AFL perspective in terms of lockdown and what it's meaning on the players. Some it's having a bit of a mental impact. I know the Warriors are sending a few of their players home. Can you give us two thoughts? Number one, how are you feeling the impacts being felt by the NRL blokes as they go into lockdown? And then what's it going to mean for the Warriors when a few of those senior players head home to spend time with some of their family?
Yeah, I can understand, and I don't think we can really judge on those who want to go home, because we're not simply in their shoes. One of the boys, David Fusatua, has a baby arriving shortly, so you can totally understand that.
Yep.
Other boys have other reasons as well. But what it's done, and it's really set fire to the loan arrangements. So, for example, Melbourne Storm have this kid, Harry Grant, right? Not many people would know Harry Grant, particularly in the southern states, but he was parked behind a bloke you will know, Cameron Smith, and wasn't looking like getting a game. So they have very, very, I suppose it's like a boyfriend who's not insecure. They said, no, you go on a date, that's fine. Off you go. And Harry Grant's gone on the date to the West Tigers, and he might just win the Dally M, which is a major, major story. A lone player could win the Dally M. You know, like the Brownlow medalist. Imagine one of the AFL clubs going, there you go, young fella, and then they all of a sudden right in the mix for the Brownlow. But what it does, boys, is, and this shows the maturity of the club, which is the Melbourne Storm. Yeah, look, they haven't got him this year, and they wouldn't probably use him this year. But next year, let's call it grand final day in 12 months' time or 18 months' time. This kid now, Harry Grant, he's played 18 months' worth of football, which might be most valuable at the time. So I heard Gary Lyon talking about it the other day. Maybe it's something that the AFL need to start investigating.
Yeah, absolutely. Just while we're on the Storm, Ryan Pappenhausen, he burst on the scene last year. One of the great tries of all time last week. How good can he be?
Oh, boys, he's taking on the Gold Coast this afternoon, and I don't know how they can contain him for 80 minutes. He's a great player. This is what Melbourne do. A star retires, Billy Slater, and you think, they're gone. And this kid, Pappenhausen, was fourth seed to take the spot, and I now call him Ryan Pappenhausen. Like he's just so quick. He's a superstar, and touch football's a big thing in New South Wales and Queensland, and he was a star touch footballer. With the new rules making the game so quick, he's most certainly benefiting.
You did mention the Gold Coast there, so we know a lot of the AFL players are in Gold Coast. If you were going to be up in lockdown up there, Joel, what would be sort of your top three things to be doing up on the Gold Coast? Maybe Warner Brothers Movie World? Or
Shirts are optional as well, Joel.
Hey, listen, shirts are very optional for me, Brownie. It was about 40 degrees recently here in Sydney, and I had the rashie on. And let me tell you, the rashie had nothing to do with sun protection. It was all about ego protection. So shirts are mandatory in my house. What would I be doing? I'll tell you what I wouldn't be doing. I wouldn't be snitching on people like in the NBA. What about the snitch line? Can you believe that?
That's unbelievable. Snitches end up in ditches. That's where they end up.
And it's really apt. We didn't set any of this up, but a few people have been snitching on Brownie through the week, including
where are you finding all these photos?
Including a few of his former teammates. Joel, have a look at some of the gear. So obviously Brownie got paid big bucks. I think it was almost $1 million to head up to the Gold Coast when they were just struggling to get by. You got the State of Origin.
There you go, Maroons. Maroons.
Hair's doing a much better job there than it is nowadays. Brownie, good work there. The signed card, that's going for $9 if you want to jump onto red. What was I going to say? Tree gum house, whatever it's called. YouTube, not YouTube.
No,
anyway.
Well, what I did realise, I've just checked eBay at the moment for that same card, and the leading bidder has jumped it up to $15 without any other opposition. $15 C Brown is the name.
And obviously playing a bit of golf is your big one up there, Brownie. Hey, Joel, I loved every minute of having you on. Fingers crossed. Thanks to NRL Nation. You can visit us again soon. We might actually see if Sam can come and visit you and we can see some of your finest work when you're on the tools as a Sparky. Get you back involved. Bump up that hourly rate.
The old, when you're looking at the PowerPoint or the GPO as they call it, clean clockwise, active neutral. Remember that one. Kids, quiet down. You'll be let out.
Daddy daycare at its finest. Hey, Joel Caine, great to chat to you. Tune into NRL Nation.
Thanks,
catch up with the very latest from the game north of the border. Up next, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about this one because it's the CEO of Good Work, a man who's done plenty to support
on your game.
Every single
this
show.
Is the one time. Are there any throws that you're going to go to?
I don't know. I'm just hoping I'll look at the right camera. We'll be back with Chris Pattenden, CEO of Good Work, right after this. Tools down thanks to Good Work. It's Brownie and it's Huey. And I covered off this before. I don't know why I'm kind of shaky. But this next guest has been a massive supporter of ours as we've tried to bring this show to life over the past 7 weeks. He's the CEO of Good Work. It is an app built for 30,000 tradies plus, and it just keeps growing as a result of the great work you're doing, Brownie. As we try and connect tradies and really build a network to help everyone bounce back from COVID-19. And we're delighted to be joined by Chris Pattenden. Chris, the CEO of Good Work. How are you, mate?
Very well, Huey. Thanks, Brownie. G'day. How are you, mate?
Good, you.
Thanks for having us.
With a double fox. Have you seen that? He's got the fox.
I was just about to say he's putting us to shame in terms of his fashion sense already.
When one fox isn't enough, he's going to go. But it's nice of you to invite me on, gents. What are we, week 8?
Yeah, week 8. So you finally got a Guernsey.
I was thinking week 1, maybe I'd get a go, but here we are, week 8. So, cheers.
Chris, well, let's just kick it off with the basics, mate. Just give us a little bit of a rundown of Good Work and what the app's all about and why you're involved.
Yeah, of course. So Good Work, it's really a professional networking app for tradies. It's a place where we can connect to each other. We've got 30,000 tradies on there now, different trades, different locations. So you can connect and get access to unique tips and information. So whether that's user-generated tips from each other or industry news coming through. And ultimately, the goal of all that is to provide a platform where you can level up and continue to develop your longer-term career. So, yeah, jobs are great, and you can win a job, which is good for the short term. But I think building a network and a deep connection is all about the longer term. Connection
and connectivity at the moment is more important than ever. And how have you found the app in terms of its usage and everything during the lockdowns and the COVID period? Yeah, it's definitely gone up. And there's no doubt that in this environment, there's not as much work around, but there's something you can still do for your career. You can still connect to each other. You can talk to each other because we're not alone. We're all going through this together. And by starting to build those relationships now, I think that's going to help as we start to come out of this environment.
Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Janie Bunn or any of the Weather Girls, but they operate to a screen. So, Chris, we're going to get you to do your best, Janie, here. It'd be good if you could talk us through the app and just give us a real-time feel of what it's like to get involved with the app and then the sort of functionality. You're the first person I've ever heard call a Janie Bunn. Seriously, just Jane Bunn, mate. Okay.
You're very familiar. That's good. Not really. Great. So let me take you through it. So we're looking at a profile here. So the first thing you do when you connect to the app is you can put some information about yourself, a photo, a bit of a blurb, some of your skills. You can upload things like licenses and certificates. Importantly, you can start to upload some examples of your work because I think it's one thing to say, yeah, here's my name. It's another thing to show what you're capable of. Once you upload projects and work, it feeds into the news feed, so you're accessing 30,000 tradies. In terms of finding other people to connect to, you can click and search for members by trade or by location. And you can also look for jobs on the platform, which is what we're looking at here. So, yeah, as we said, a place to build the digital CV and then to use that to connect and to better advance your career.
Yeah, pretty important as well for them to be updated and quite current with their profiles.
Yeah, and that's the opportunity, because we're on new jobs all the time. There's no reason you can't be adding, today's project, tomorrow's project, and sharing that to stay top of mind, but to also build that deeper connection. So once you've connected, there's a bit of surface information, but as you start seeing each other's work, I think that builds credibility.
Now, you've been involved in the startup community pretty much as long as tech's been around. Why has good work been such a motivating factor for you to get involved, not just in the development of this technology, but also more broadly in the trade industry?
Look, I see the power of a network, and that's what's helped my career. I didn't really come from a conventional path. And so from the jobs I've got along the way have all been through someone I know who's introduced me to someone they know. So I see the power of a network. That's what we're trying to build here. And you always need that network, whether it's an introduction to a job. You don't start off with a network when you're an apprentice or you're starting out. You're trying to find that connection. As you level up to different stages of your career, if you go out on your own or if you're trying to hire people, again, you need more network than you have access to. And then just by having contacts in your phone, that's okay, great. Even if you do have a network, you can find them in your phone, but it's not a lot of information. Whereas if you're on somewhere like Good Work, then you can see them on your phone, but you can see examples of their work, you can see their current certificates, and I think it's a deeper relationship. So it's worked for me. I want to help the tradies build their networks.
Outstanding performance. There's no appearance fee on our show, Chris, but what we are going to do is, I know you're a big Hawthorn man, so we will give you a signed copy of Brownie's book, The
Bit
Rise
of
of
paper
the
for the
Suns.
fire tonight, mate. Just keep the fire burning.
It was 3 degrees this morning, so yeah, can't wait for that. No, appreciate it, gents.
Pato, great to have you on board, and again, we'll have all the detail on the Facebook page in the show notes. Pretty easy to find Good Work on the App Store as well.
We've got Jimmy coming up.
Yeah, not yet.
Been waiting all week since he got me in the first round.
I really
seething.
I know, but I want to chat to you about the AFL. I reckon you had a pretty big night getting behind the Pies last night. I
thought
want to
they
chat
were good.
a little bit about that, plus the rest of the AFL season. Then Jimmy will be coming up a bit later. Job Builder, the PM has announced a massive package for apprentices, and we're going to help you navigate that environment. Coming up soon on Good Work. Here we are again. Tools down.
Yes, good, very good. It is behind us.
Thanks to Good Work.
This show.
It's just something about having the CEO in the building that's making me a little bit nervous. Again,
It's been fun working with you.
Well, thank you. Hopefully it's not the last week.
I've been racking my brain as to who you look alike, because you tried to sort of pass yourself off as Hugh Grant the other week, which was just despicable.
In fairness, that was my mum.
I saw him last Friday night. He plays for Hawthorn. Let's have a look. Ricky Henderson. There's more of you and Ricky Henderson than Hugh Grant, let me tell you, with the greys.
The only thing we got in common is the beard, and apologies, Ricky. That is an ordinary. That's not fair to Ricky on your behalf. We wanted to quickly get to some AFL though. Pies last night, second on the ladder behind Port Adelaide. You've loved Port Adelaide all season. What did you make of the Pies, and how do you reckon the rest of it's shaping up?
I thought the Pies were absolutely magnificent. Geez, their ball movement was so slick in the wet over in Perth. They were hungry, tough, and hard with their tackling. I think they're the premiership favourites. Travel outstanding, and the rest of the year they'll be travelling, so that's a massive plus. They profile very nicely. Big game tonight. I think that Essendon and the Doggies will be a really solid contest.
Now, last time Essendon played the Doggies 21 goals straight.
They smashed them.
Do we reckon the Bombers will do better?
It's a different
tonight?
Bombers side now. They've got a little bit more confidence about them. I think it'll be a close game. I'm a bit of an advocate of the AFL Grand Final. If it can't be played here in Victoria, which is looking less and less likely by the day, to go to the Gabba. I know that they're talking about Perth and they had attendance there last night, but if there's been one state that has been pivotal in helping keep the AFL season alive, it's been Queensland, and they deserve their shot.
Reckon you're letting your Gold Coast bias cloud your vision a little
Definitely
bit
no
there.
Gold Coast bias.
What about the fact of maybe some of the players wanting to come home? Do you think, I mean, the Gold Coast is a great place to be, but let's be honest, if you were away from Boston, I'm sure, and the family, I'm sure you'd struggle a little bit. Do you reckon, similar to the Warriors, we might see a few players coming home?
There's no doubt we'll see players sort of come and go from the hubs. That's just going to be a reality because there's still another 10 or so weeks left of the regular season. But a lot of the families have made the decision to move up to the Gold Coast or to Brisbane or wherever that may be, Noosa, and be with them now that we know that they're not coming home in the future. So they'll do their 2 weeks self-quarantining and then they're up there at least.
The Carlton supporters have been singing loud and proud since last week. What do you reckon? I know Port Adelaide's a favourite of yours, but the Blues could just be a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they could cause an upset. Port Adelaide have been flying, haven't they? Really good side. But when Charlie Dixon's playing well for Port, they tend to win. Jacob Wiedering's arguably the best defender in the competition, so he'll get him and maybe win that battle. That's the best I've seen the Blues play for nearly a decade. Quick ball movement. Eddie Betts has been magnificent. Jack Martin's added some life up forward. Doherty down back. They're going beautifully.
Someone who's not going beautifully when it comes to challenge time and finance with our man Jimmy is you.
Yeah.
I'm expecting bigger and better things from you when we do challenge time. Plus, Jimmy gives us the latest from all the federal government stimulus to help tradies bounce back from COVID-19 here on Tools Down. Thanks to Good Work. Tools Down, thanks to Good Work. It's Brownie and Huey. Winners are grinners today, Brownie. We got the snacks. We're giving away everything. We got Elwood, some beanies. We are going to be doing the major prize draw. We've been promoting it for about 100 years, but it is happening today. Not too late for you to get involved. So if you want to leave your name, go into the draw and maybe you too could win our Elwood and Tom and Luke pack. We're going to draw that towards the end of the show. But right now, it's time for...
There's a throw. Ah, you're beauty.
Finally, we got one right. We are getting there, Jimmy, and it's great to have you join us in what is a massive week for finance. I can just
see. Bit of makeup as well, I reckon, for Jimmy. Who does your Windsor knots as well?
Oh, come on, you two. Come on. We're just having a usual Friday afternoon here. No need for that sort of behaviour. I'm a little bit pumped. I've got my first throw. I'm very excited about it. It's very good.
Big step.
And I can just see your excitement. Accountants all over the place are going absolutely bunter, Jimmy. The PM made a pretty big announcement yesterday, so let's get right into it. Job Trainer, the skills program. Give us the rundown. What does it mean for tradies everywhere?
Well, this is a fairly decent initiative by the federal government. We've been speaking over the last couple of weeks about how they're going to be more industry and sector specific. And this is the first step in that. They've recognised that through this COVID period, training for unskilled workers has fallen off a cliff. It's disappeared. People haven't been focusing on looking after apprentices or training them up. So what this initiative is doing is identifying a few key sectors in our economy and actually paying for training. So it's short courses that people can undertake in manufacturing, in construction, in retail, and other certain little areas that they can do that get them trained up looking for work and ready for work.
Home builder packages, Jimmy. It was spoken about a month ago, and then it sort of disappeared amongst other news. The PM brought it back into the discussion this week. How are the results for that?
This has been an initiative to help the new building area or new homes part of the building sector. And throughout the eastern seaboard, mainly in Queensland, there's been over 350 applications of interest towards this. That's a lot of money and a great stimulus for the area. So the uptake has been good, but I think the PM mentioned it yesterday to get more people involved. So if you're out there and you think that your clients would like to take advantage, get involved. I think it's a good program.
We're also seeing a fair bit of negative discussion come into play with Victoria in the second round of restrictions for the metro area, Jimmy. We want to try and be a little bit optimistic, but how do you feel it's looking in terms of the impact on the economy for Victoria and broader Australia as we sort of get towards the end of 2020?
Yeah, it's a really good point. The statistics have come out and the job numbers, the unemployment numbers came out yesterday at around the 7.5 mark. That's actually better than expectation, but they think the real unemployment number is around the 14% mark, with JobKeeper propping up that 5%. For me, what we had was an instant drop-off back in March and April, but the word is around that it's not getting much worse. So we've managed to hold the negativity. We're holding strong. But the real challenge will be the last quarter, the December quarter leading into Christmas, when JobKeeper finishes and other certain programs come to an end. What will it really look like then? Now, I'm more optimistic than most. I think this holding pattern is a good thing. Victorian shutdown, well, we're ready to work. We're ready to get back to it, and there's nothing in our way to do so. So I'm still confident for a V-shaped recovery here, but we just have to be patient when that can be.
And I suppose it's things like a job trainer that are going to help you sort of squirrel the nuts away. So if you are in a situation at the moment where the work is flowing and your cash flow is good, things like getting subsidies for apprentices are something you can probably do now to protect yourself when we do get into that sort of November and December quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what these programs are all about. It's helping us, all of us, get organised for what the next 6 months going to bring. And the apprenticeship program is exactly that.
All right, enough of the finance talk, Jimmy. If people want to find out more and get in contact with you about how they can build a more robust balance sheet, where do they go?
Clientpartners.com.au. Find me there anytime.
Inundated.
He's making an absolute fortune. And something you did really well at last week, and you are in front for the first time, Jimmy. Challenge time. It's a big one. I've got to get into my box here and see if I can't find some of the questions.
What have you got in there today?
I've got some socks. And I've got a hammer, but I don't have the questions. You know why? Because Olivia's gone 2 steps ahead and put them on the rundown.
Oh, no.
Again.
We're not going back to the old toolbox days. They're right in front of you.
I got one job. Can't even do it. Rightio. So the challenge today here, Jimmy, stick with me. We're going to test our trade knowledge as well as some problem-solving skills. So we're going to go to some video. We're giving you a few scenarios from a few of our tradie mates, and thanks to everyone for jumping on Facebook and sharing your stories with us. You can DM us anytime if you've got a video of childcare and your son being headbutted by a goat.
Slide into Huey's DMs.
Yeah, please do. Rightio, here we go. So, life of a maintenance plumber. This is a burst pipe and it's for you, Brownie. So we want you to check out the video from Life of a Maintenance Plumber on Instagram.
All right, so it's clearly burst there. There's the water spurting out. Yep.
A little bit going on. It's a burst pipe, obviously. Now, being pipes underground, what is your thoughts on what's caused the copper pipe to actually split?
Just erosion. It's probably been in the ground for a long period of time, and just natural erosion sort of would eat away there at the copper pipe, and cause a little crack.
He's up David Attenborough. Come on, mate. Erosion.
Natural erosion at copper? I don't think so.
No.
What do we reckon?
Well, if you want my opinion, I think someone's dug a hole in the wrong spot.
No, you're completely wrong, Jimmy, and not yours to answer. The tree root. It's grown into the pipe and it's pierced it.
Okay, so that would fall under natural erosion from
No, it's a tree
third
pipe,
party.
not natural erosion. That's a 0 for you. And now we've got an old friend of the show. If we sort of go back to the first 2 episodes, he hasn't made an appearance since. Remember Juzzy?
Yeah, I remember Juzzy. He licked his plumbing.
Let's leave that where it is. This one's for you, Jimmy. Here's a video from our mate Juzzy, Crave Plumbing, massive following on Instagram.
Yeah, out my way as well.
And have a look at this. So this is a tree root.
Oh no.
And we want to get your view, Jimmy. Nearest the pin, how long do you reckon that tree root is? You can see him going back quite a ways.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
How long?
All right. Well, I play a little bit of golf, so how's my yardage going on here? I reckon 9 metres.
Oh, wow.
No, I reckon that's closer to 14 metres.
Nah, you got it, Jimmy. 10 metres. Crave Plumbing. Nice work, Juzzy. And we've got a second one here. And Brownie, you need this one because at the moment, again, your challenge time as we've got into the new studio environment has really gone downhill. You were 4-1 up in season 1 and now you're 1-0 down and you need these next 2. So we've got another video from Juzzy.
Another one. He loves it.
Take a look at this one.
Okay.
Now, we're asking here, what is the tool he's using to crimp the pipe? So he's winding something around there, and I've really got no idea what it is, but it's called something.
A spanner.
And he's reviewed it in past shows. Don't answer yet. He's reviewed it in past shows.
There it goes. And I think he had a cigarette in his mouth to start with. Just your basic Phillips head.
You got no, it's not your Phillips head. Jimmy, you're the winner anyway. Any thoughts? You've got no idea. It's a B press.
Whatsoever.
It's a
Monkey
B
wrench?
press.
I don't know.
How am I meant to get that?
Yeah. All right. Well, Jimmy's had a win, so I reckon we call it there.
Yeah, right. Well done, Jimmy.
Well done to you,
Good.
Jimmy. 2-0 up. And as a result of taking it out, you win a copy. There's only 10,000 or 9,993 copies left. You've got one of them. It's Brownie's book, The Rise of the
Don't
Suns.
sign it, so it might be worth something.
Deal. I won't sign it.
Hey, Jimmy, great work by you. We'll see you again next week. Find out all the details and all the programs the government's going to use to help tradies bounce back from COVID-19. Good work, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And
Thanks, guys. More next week.
We'll catch up with you shortly and wrap things up right after this. You're listening to Tools Down. Thanks to Good Work. Brownie, tools down thanks to Good Work. Another episode down.
Yep,
Who would have
another great
thunk
week as well.
A couple of months ago. We're now into episode 8. It's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. A little bit more than we used to. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
it's good. It's good to
talked
see
about
it.
how good of mates we are, so I'm glad that we can catch up at least
I don't
once
get
a
down
week.
to Phillip Island too often, mate, so it's good to
Come
catch
down any time. We are not in lockdown. Speaking of lockdown, got nothing to do with prizes. Pretty ordinary link, but we are going to draw the major prize. We've got Elwood pants, Elwood hoodie, a stack of snacks thanks to Tom and Luke's. We've got beanies. We're even going to throw in a copy of the book. Who's the name? Who's the winner?
Oliver Wright.
Ollie Wright. Congratulations to you, Ollie. You have a massive hamper of prizes coming your
Well
way.
done. Thanks for watching.
Why don't we do another one? 9,130 copies of the book coming to this
That'd be a wrap to get this one. Andrew Hewitt. No. Lee Mahadi.
Lee Mahadi.
Mahadi.
That's my auntie.
Is it really?
It is. So, Lee, just sit back and enjoy as I read you an excerpt of Brownie's. This is chapter 4, Vegas. There's not much here I can.
Venue on earth.
There's not much here I can read, but the travelling party consisted of Buddy Franklin, Jared Ruffhead, Jordan Lewis, Clinton Young, Cyril Rioli, Josh Gibson, Stephen Gillum, and Grant Birchall.
Real lightweight, some of them.
As night drew close, we all decided we were in for getting a tattoo, as long as someone else got it with me. Grant Birchall, Jordan Lewis and Clinton Young all agreed. So at the end of the night, we all went to the local tattoo parlour.
Yeah.
Do you remember
LA
the name of it? It's LA Ink.
Yeah.
I decided to get mine on my right butt cheek,
Yeah.
while the other blokes all had their ankles adorned.
That's right. No, we got a Hawks Premiership tat from 08 and none of us ended up getting it done, so we did it that night. And can I just tell you, just really quickly, you're meant to do two things. Not go in chlorine and rub on sort of an anti-inflammatory ointment. We went to Vegas, we went and swam every day and lost the ointment and we all got infected. So I had an infected right arse cheek, all the boys had infected ankles. We were walking around Las Vegas, mate, like we were 80 years of age. So, yeah, it wasn't the best preparation. So,
Can't get enough of this book. I can't believe there's that many copies left. We can probably give one away every week.
I can't believe your auntie won it. Auntie. Well done.
Thanks to everyone for joining us. Obviously, star-studded lineup of guests, too many to mention. Fingers crossed, we will be back next week.
Yep.
Maybe you'll be hosting. Please stay safe. Enjoy the time in lockdown as much as you can, and we'll see you same place, same time next week. Tools down. Thanks to Good Work.
I smell sex and
Candy, yummy. Who's that lounging in my chair? Who's that casting devious stares
in my direction.